What's up, everybody? Hope you're doing well this morning. Wanted to do a video today about master metered property. I personally love this stuff. It's kind of a niche market in the commercial and apartment world, but one of the reasons I love it so much is that it allowed me to get from having just some condos and some regular rental properties to my first commercial deal. So a lot of people get kind of sketched out about master metered stuff. I don't know why, mostly because I guess they just don't know what the fuck it is, but it's really not that hard. So I wanted to just kind of share my experience with it, how I've learned to deal with it, because it is a really cool product. It's very much niche, so a lot of the big guys in the apartment and the commercial world don't like to mess with it, which is cool because it lets us small people get something done. So anyway, master meter 101. What is a master meter property? Master metered, all that means is there's one electric meter and one water meter for the whole building, which typically contains multiple units. It's rare you see this in anything smaller than a duplex. So most duplexes will be separately metered, but some of the bigger stuff around here in Arizona, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 20 units, there's a good bit of master metered product. So one question I had when I got started is, why the hell would anyone build a 20-unit apartment building and not separately meter electric and water? Got down some rabbit holes, figured out why. Most of this stuff, my property included, was built in the 70s, okay? And I was not alive at that point, maybe you were. God bless you if you, got a few years on me, it's great. But there was an oil crisis, right? Something had to do, Shah of Iran got pissed, blah, blah, blah. The price of oil shot through the roof, gas got rationed, and energy, just in general, meaning gasoline, electric, all that kind of stuff, the cost went boom. So a lot of guys in the apartment market built master metered property, and they were advertising this stuff as all utilities included, okay? So if you were someone on a fixed budget, not a lot of money, what have you, you could move into one of these properties, live comfortably, and you knew that you would pay a fixed rate, so you knew what your expenses would be. Okay? Some markets, there's not as much of this stuff. Out here in the Southwest, there's a pretty good amount, right? And I've seen some big buildings come across my desk at work, 80, 100 units, all master metered. So think about that, paying 100 people's power bills. So mine, we'll use as an example today because it's small, it's 8 units, block construction, flat roof, pretty typical of what you're gonna find out here in the Southwest. It was built in the 70s. Awful energy efficiency, right? Very expensive to heat and cool, very wasteful design, just generally bad. So I came from the construction world, got to work around some really cool people who designed some really cool stuff, got some engineer friends, so really was able to kind of dial this thing in and got to know this product, and I love it. I'm looking for another one. Hopefully I can get one here this year. That's my goal, is to get another 8 to 12 units of master metered property, because now that I have a system, I can come in and bid where other people get scared because they don't know what the hell they're doing. So, without further ado, master meter 101. One building, multiple units, one power bill. So, you pay the bills as the landlord, right? What that means is there's 8 people doing whatever it is they do all day in your property. Whatever electricity they use comes out of your back pocket. See ya. Pay to the power company, okay? So you're gonna pay all the bills. Like I said before, most of this stuff was built in the 1970s. There are some newer and some older, but for the bulk of what I've seen personally, most of it was 70s build. So the first step on these that I took was energy hacks, right? There's about 1 million videos out there on how to save energy, reduce your power bill, or anything else. Do your own research, obviously, but I got down some rabbit holes and figured out what worked for me. The cool part is that responsibility is on you as the landlord. So rather than waiting for your tenants to pull their heads out of their collective asses and do something responsible, you're able to just say, this is the building, I take care of it, my building, my bat, my ball, my rules, right? So I like it because I do believe in running an energy efficient property, right? Where I live, the properties that I rent out to people, I spend money, and I firmly believe in this concept. Whatever political views you have, I don't really give a shit, but just not wasting is good business. No one's gonna argue with that, okay? So the energy hacks, the responsibility is on you. The cool part is any money that you save comes right back in that back pocket. Pretty sweet. So there's three big things that everybody does. Resource consumption, right? You've got to reduce that. So reduce the amount of water everyone uses, reduce the amount of electricity everyone uses. If your property or if a property you're looking at has natural gas, figure out how to use less, right? That's the best way to do it. Another big one, this comes from the apartment world, is called RUBS. This is Ratio Utility Billing System, okay? This can work some places. The biggest thing with RUBS, a lot of apartment guys like to do this, where they will divvy up the power bill and just make everyone pay a fixed rate of it. So we'll make the math easy. If you have a 10-unit building and your power bill is $500, everybody pays $50 and you call it a day, right? If other people in your market use the RUBS system, right, if it's common, you're not going to have a problem implementing it. I tried to do it on my building and nobody else in the neighborhood does it, and I had an entire building full of people very, very butthurt at me, and I wound up backing off and saying, okay, fine, this isn't going to work, my bad, let's figure something else out, okay? So you're just going to have to do some research in your home market, call up some kind of mid-range apartments, pretend like you're trying to lease something, and say, hey, you know, what do you guys do about utilities? Especially if they're the utilities included ones. You can probably get on Craigslist or Google or whatever, utilities included apartments, punch in your zip code, and some will pop up. So figure out if other people are doing it, because if they're not, this is not Oregon Trail. You do not want to be a pioneer. Your oxen will fall into the river. Everybody will get dysentery, and it will just suck. So don't do that. The other really cool part I like about this stuff is that it is a very niche product, right? That keeps a lot of the bigger players out of it, right? So these guys who are maybe syndicators or what have you, they've got a lot of money. They tend not to like to screw around with master meter because it's just too much of a pain in their ass. As a small guy coming up in the business, right, it's my first commercial property, I'm willing to take some pain in the ass to get my foot in the door. It is what it is. But this is why I love this stuff. You know, again, there's probably some in your zip code. Someone's probably tired of fucking around with their old master meter property, and it represents what I think is a great opportunity for you to get into business, okay? That being said, you do have to get creative with this. So on this, I was able to reduce my power bill by 61%, okay? Not a typo. I can show you the bills if you don't believe me. Throw it up in the comments. RUBS, nope. Market wouldn't let me do it. I tried to do that. I don't know if you've ever tried to explain to a building full of hairdressers that they're about to have to pay their own power. It's like wrestling a herd of wet tigers. I never want to do it again. The niche thing, we've already talked about that, but this building, it was literally on the MLS. No one wanted it. It was like, you know, a pretty girl that maybe just needed to lose some weight, but all everybody saw was that she was fat. So I saw through that and said, this is going to be a great property, and was able to beat out some other people and get my first deal, which was a really, really good feeling. This was a fight, 9 months worth of negotiation. So I realized real quickly that the bills were out of control. This is completely irrelevant to this part of the conversation. And then the energy hacks, right? So get on Google, get on YouTube, search whatever it is you need to do to figure out what's going to allow you to reduce the power consumption. Here in Arizona, the big one is cooling. So I did a combination of a few things. I did solar coating on the roof. I replaced the windows with glass block. Check your local codes, make sure that's cool. I put in tankless water heaters for everybody. Rooted around on Craigslist. Found some great deals and some really badass electric tankless water heaters. I also replaced the big, gigantic rooftop AC systems. Now everyone's got their own mini splits. I added insulation to the building. And then we also use shade out here in the Southwest. It's kind of a cloth. You might have seen it over at Greenhouse. But I use that to shade the building in the afternoons. All that translated to 61% decrease in power consumption, which allows me to take all that money and put it back in my pocket. Whack, life's good. So, the other thing that some people will like to do on these master metered out here is they will do solar, right? Solar's kind of controversial. There's a lot of people out there who love it, a lot of people out there who hate it. It's kind of a big, hot mess, for lack of a better word. I am working on this right now. I will actually do another video here coming up because I am installing a solar system on this building. The short version about solar is this: if you're handy and you're not an idiot and you know how to do electrical work, the cost of it's going down enough right now that if you do all your energy hacks first, you can probably take a building or a property like this. You're not going to be able to go off the grid. Let's forget that part. But reduce your bill enough to where it's almost nothing for a pretty reasonable price. To give you an example, I'm looking around, I've started buying some parts and putting the system together. I'm gonna need to spend probably between $8,000 and $10,000 on parts. Probably take me 2 or 3 weekends, get a couple of my buddies to help me out. At that point, I've got free power on this building for life, right? These things last a long time, right? Solar systems have pretty long lifespans if you take care of them. And I mean, what's to lose at that point? Do you want to cut this money to the power company, or do you want to keep that back in your pocket? It also allows you to not have to ride herd on your tenants as bad about energy consumption because the sun's providing it for free, okay? So that's my whole spiel on solar. I'm not going to get into a big argument with anybody on it, but kind of wrapping all of this up, I really love master metered products. Again, because it is niche and you can do all of these cool things. The other part is that you're in direct control of 8 people's energy consumption. So that to me is really cool. I believe in being efficient. A lot of other people may not. Rather than argue with them, I simply provide an energy efficient product and they can live there or not. Or in this case, do their business there or not. These are all commercial spaces. So, it allows you to kind of be an influence and be a net positive in the world in my book. But look around. If you're looking at your first multifamily deal, maybe some small apartments, this again was an office complex, take a look at the master metered stuff. It's not that hard to learn. I hope this kind of got you at least stepping down the path, but it really does work and it can make great money. In this building, I managed to boost the rent roll. Like, it's just a star performer. I mean, probably double the value of the place. It works really, really well. So look around, definitely got some homework to do, but this is master meter product. That's what everyone's going to call it. If you call up a commercial broker, say, hey, I'm looking to buy some master metered property, they're going to know exactly what you're talking about, so you're not going to sound like a complete fucking newbie, okay? So take a look around, run some numbers. If you got any questions, throw them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them here. I've got kind of a busy week, but I'll try to keep up. And hopefully this helps you on your way. And if not, drop me some hate mail on the back of a $100 bill. I appreciate it. Have a good one. We'll see you next time.